Please stand for the academic procession.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I constitute this a congregation of Rhodes University. Please be seated.
The Chancellor, the Honorable Justice Lexham Party, Chairperson of the Rhodes University Council, Judge Gerald Bloom, and other members of our council, President of the Rhodes University Convocation, Dr. Michelle Ratis, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, Acting Registrar, Deans, Heads of Academic Department and Directors of Administrative Divisions, academic and support staff colleagues, President and other members of the Student Representative Council, proud parents, guardians, siblings and friends of our graduates, honored guests, and most of all, our graduates. On behalf of our council, our Board of Governors, and the entire Rhodes University community, I warmly welcome you all this morning to this celebratory event in which we acknowledge and celebrate the significant achievements of our graduates in the presence of their loved ones. Hearty congratulations to you all, our graduates, on your academic achievements. The attainment of a Rhodes University qualification is an exacting proposition in the best of times. And to earn one under the daunting circumstances of the once-in-a-century pandemic is truly special. You persevered valiantly, you are resilient, and you triumphed brilliantly. You should be very proud of what you have achieved. We are immensely proud of you. When the first positive case of COVID-19 was reported on 5 March 2020, and we had to send students home in the same month, we never imagined that the pandemic would disrupt our lives for almost 2 years. We had to cancel all on-campus and in-person activities, including graduation ceremonies. Your disappointment was understandable and justified. We, however, promised you that once the pandemic had abated, we would invite you back to campus to celebrate your academic achievements in the best way we know how. So thank you for your understanding and patience, and for honoring our invitation to this celebration. We are delighted that we have been able to make good on our undertaking. If nothing else, the pandemic has shown us that the world can change in an instant. It has taught us just how uncertain and how unpredictable life can be. It has taught us to always expect the unexpected. Above all, it has taught us the value and importance of resilience, adaptability, and human ingenuity. These are the lessons that will serve you the rest of your life. While the once-in-a-generation challenges of the magnitude of the global pandemic may not be regular occurrences, there will always be new challenges to tackle and new and unexpected problems to solve. You'll have to confront these with the courage, determination, resourcefulness, and imagination that carried you to this exciting moment in your life journey. Dear graduates, I have no doubt that you will be the first to acknowledge that you did not get to this moment in time on your own. No one accomplishes anything on their own. The old African adage, "It takes a village to raise a child," is as true today as it has always been. Accordingly, we offer our heartfelt congratulations to your families, friends, guardians, and all those whose loving sacrifices, constant encouragement, and unfaltering support have sustained you throughout your academic journey at Rhodes University. At times when you might have lost all hope and wondered if you would get to the finishing line, they were there to cheer you on and cheer you up. This graduation celebration is as much yours as it is theirs. Our university is very fortunate to have outstanding, loyal, dedicated, and committed academic and support staff who take a deep and keen interest in the growth, development, and academic success of each and every one of our students. If I may be so bold, let me, on your behalf, express profound gratitude and sincere appreciation to your lecturers, tutors, laboratory technicians, computer assistants, support and administrative staff for their guidance, support, and encouragement during the trying times of your studies. Your success is their just reward. Dear graduates, you have received the best education from one of the finest universities in the world. With your Rhodes University education, you can embrace the future with utmost confidence, courage, and conviction. But always remember that the Rhodes University education you have received is not for your sole or private benefit. You are expected to use it to advance the common good. As you are aware, the past 2 years have been the most difficult in living memory. The COVID-19 pandemic has profoundly altered our world as we knew it. Many people have lost their lives, many have lost their livelihoods, and even more have lost hope. Even as we celebrate your tremendous achievements this morning, we mourn the many lives that were lost over the past 2 years, especially those of our students, staff, and alumni, and particularly those for whom this celebration would have been a special one. We salute and honor the healthcare workers and all those who have been and still are in the front line of our nation's battle against the COVID-19 pandemic. Every single day, as they save the lives of others, they place their own lives and those of their family members at a huge risk. We commend them for their courage, bravery, heroism, and selfless service to our nation and humankind. Our nation and humanity look to you, graduates of this distinctive university, to play your part in the shaping of a better, a more just, a more humane, a more equitable, a more inclusive, and a more sustainable future. Your achievements as a Rhodes University graduate afford you an opportunity to contribute in the rebuilding of what the COVID-19 has destroyed. I very much hope that you will place your knowledge, skills, and talents at the service of our society and humanity as we rebuild devastated lives and destroyed economies, and as we rekindled shattered dreams and ruined hopes. Not only do you now carry light with you, you are the light of the world. May you shine always to brighten the corner where you are and dispel the darkness of ignorance, selfishness, greed, corruption, despair, venality, injustice, violence, malfeasance, hatred, self-centeredness, and indifference towards the poor and the marginalized in our society. May you always be the reason others feel positive and confident about themselves, about life, and about their future. And may you always be a beacon of hope and a source of optimism for a better and a sustainable future. You have so much to offer our ravaged society and broken world. Never for a moment doubt your capacity to make a positive change in our society and beyond. Use the education, skills, and competencies you have gained at Rhodes University to make the world a better place for all. As a graduate of the university where leaders learn, we will expect you to lead wherever you find yourself. Never allow the fear of failure to drive you into the safety and comfort of inaction. You are more than equal to the challenges that will come your way. To quote Marianne Williamson, I quote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others, end quote. In all that you do, may you always be guided by the values and principles of social justice, empathy, kindness, integrity, honesty, compassion, civility, and human solidarity. You are now part of a special community, the alumni of Rhodes University. Extraordinary people who are making remarkable contribution and leading change in many and diverse fields of human endeavor. We will expect no less from you. We welcome you to this special and ever-growing community with whom you share a deep affection for this fine institution. In the years to come, we will follow your growth, development, and success as a professional with a keen interest, and we will applaud you for the honor and credit you bring to your alma mater. As we celebrate the achievements and academic success of our students, we also celebrate the 50th anniversary of our School of Journalism and Media Studies, a significant milestone indeed. What began in 1970 as a single course in journalism with 17 students quickly grew into a fully fledged Department of Journalism in 1972. It is now a school housed in its own state-of-the-art building and offering a wide range of undergraduate and postgraduate degrees to over 500 students. Our warmest congratulations to staff, students, and alumni of our School of Journalism and Media Studies. You have indeed done us proud. We celebrate that our Constitution protects the right to media freedom. This is critical for the health of our constitutional democracy. As we celebrate this significant milestone of our School of Journalism and Media Studies, we must record our deep concern and disquiet with the desperate attempts to bully, intimidate, harass, and silence one of the best legal journalists and a graduate of our university, Karen Mon. Frivolous and vexatious court proceedings that are without merit have been instituted against her. Such flagrant abuse of our court processes is bound to fail, and it will fail. We stand with Karen. Karen is one of the recipients of the special awards to celebrate the 50th anniversary of our School of Journalism and Media Studies. Dear graduates, may you always cherish your university experience and the privilege of an exceptional education you have received from this great university. And may the bonds of friendship forged at Rhodes University and rooted in your shared experiences and memories sustain you and last you a lifetime. At the end of this ceremony, when you are reunited with your loved ones, please give them a warm hug and a kiss and whisper these words in their ear. Thank you for all that you have done for me. They have made this day possible. Let me conclude with the inspiring words of President Nelson Mandela, which I hope will guide you for the rest of your life. Quote, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead," end quote. Congratulations. We wish you much success, happiness, discernment, and fulfillment in the years ahead. To you all, Mazel Tov. Asante sana, enkosi. Ngiyalibuka, ngiyabonga. Ngiyalibuka, ndolibuka. Ngiyathokoza. Obrigado. Inkom, shukran. Merci beaucoup. Tante gracia. Ba danke. Bolshaye spasibo. Thank you very much.
Ms. Chancellor, allow me to present to you a candidate who was present at one of the graduation ceremonies of 2020 and 2021 for the Bachelor of Arts, Sonwabile Chukana.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you the candidates whose names appear in the programs for graduation in 2020 and 2021 for the degree of Bachelor of Science. Amy Sage Anderson, with distinctions in biochemistry and microbiology. Faith Cornele Clamini. Zenande Nelede Dulisa. Siklibo Dalikolo Makawe Kumenge. Nolobabalo Sibogendiseni Nosibosiso Jokazi. Gomalemo Goodness KK. Vanessa Letwin Sengwe Kikana. Sarah Sinclair Kirk. Stabile Nature Lushaba. Wongiwe Pumilela Madlavu. Kayakazi Madwansi. Salome Dinkle Makhale. Hele Bohile Grace Makete. Tafadzwa Lena Makuza with distinctions in environmental science and geography. Nonjabulo Simanmile Milinga. Silelo Regina Angel Mapeto. Pamela Shakane Mashamba. Koketso Molapo. Sheikhofatso Magnificent Malobe. Ntombi Zodwa Mpepo. Muko Florence Ntene. Roniwa Helen Ntsieni with distinction in biochemistry. Gonse Kumo Marcelino Niakale. Dimpo Taile Pelede. Colin John Price Smith with distinction in geology. Klamazi Vumbia Risaba. Abongile Jaco. Jessica Lauren Robertson. Arti Sibali. Kaisano Goodness Tuyakali. Everjoy Tiapi Sibanda. Sipukazi Sibusisiwe Zinhle Tabedi. Vuyani Tutwani. Emil Johannes Hendrikus van Son. Michlali Trejo. Yibanati Kloki. Anna Rita Duani with distinction in information systems. Tanatsa Bertha Mpofu. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you the candidates whose names appear in the programs for graduation in 2020 and 2021 for the degree of Bachelor of Science with honors. Fatima Zara Abdul Rahim in Environmental Science and the Bachelor of Science degree. Caitlin Allison in Ichthyology and Fisheries Science with distinction, and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinctions in Ichthyology and Zoology. Natasha Louise Bormer in Zoology with distinction, and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Entomology. Jonathan Benjamin in Environmental Science with distinction and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Kaylee Maria Campbell in Marine Biology and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Richard Hilton Cargeek in Zoology jointly with Botany and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Regina Nukafa Daki in Environmental Water Management. Kalipa Dambuza in Entomology and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Nicola Bondi Dreyer in Zoology and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Ichthyology. Just wait. Aidan Matthew Duprier in Ichthyology and Fishery Science with distinction and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Lutulwetu Mabaleka in Ichthyology and Fishery Science. Joseph Mufaro Kasura in Management. Wait until I'm finished. Myron Govender in Applied Mathematics and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Cole Ivor Hansen Huell in Physics and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Emily Ann Jackson in Zoology and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Gabriela Teresa Jackson in Microbiology and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Human Kinetics and Ergonomics. Tawatemba Kumalu in Information Systems and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Maklatsi Mokaichi Letwaba in Chemistry. Alicia Lubber in Marine Biology and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Nonklankla Linda Lupade, jointly in Mathematical Statistics and Mathematics. Ngwabanjala Bridget Michaela in Chemistry. Temlamvo Machidiso Magwaza in Chemistry and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Vulyalwa Makaleni in Biochemistry and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Lucinda Makranana in Mathematical Statistics and Mathematics and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Mathematical Statistics. Abanati Manchiose in Environmental Science and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Banola Masoka in Human Kinetics and Ergonomics with distinction and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinctions in Biochemistry and Human Kinetics and Ergonomics. Tsebang Alice Matlepeng in Chemistry and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Nobabelo Mbani in Human Kinetics and Ergonomics. Rory Liam McNeil in Ichthyology and Fishery Science and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Teboho Mdeniswa in Microbiology and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Namonde Chivias Mdluli in Microbiology. Andrew Keith Micklejohn in Ichthyology and Fishery Science and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Ichthyology. Yeah. Nonhle Tubelichle Mlochwa in Ichthyology and Fishery Science. Bongeka Naledi Precious Ngwengwe in Chemistry and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Motla Tumele Montia Mangene in Information Systems and the degree of Bachelor of Science Information Systems. Wajahi Bartlett Mataung in Chemistry. Nomklisi Vuyakazi Mqati in Biochemistry and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Tumelo Msutu in Chemistry and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Regina Mtembu in Information Systems and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Information Systems. Kolani Prince Nabani in Ichthyology and Fishery Science. Yurisha Tiro Naidu in Microbiology with distinction and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinctions in Biochemistry and Microbiology. Sibusiso Ntlangwa in Music and Musicology with distinction and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Knowledge Siyabonga Ndlovu in Chemistry and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Ephraim Narombe in Chemistry. Tando Luetu Nkwadla in Biotechnology with distinction. Avuzwa Ntenda in Geology with distinction and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Nicole Aramlade Oyatunji in Applied Mathematics. Rachel Rain Putzia in Environmental Science with distinction and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Environmental Science. Perrin Heather Richardson in Entomology with distinction and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Entomology. Bafokeng Tabelo Sekelele in Chemistry. Obekeng Setsomi in Chemistry. Cornele Siengo in Environmental Science and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Geography. Dumisani Jonah Solani in Information Systems. Megan Starbuck in Microbiology and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Tumachole Tsele in Microbiology and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Tandisili Naledi Chikli in Information Systems and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Kamvaletu Vanka jointly in Applied Mathematics and Mathematics with distinction, and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Emma Kate Wagenaar in Psychology with distinction, and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Psychology. Caitlin Jean Webb in Zoology, and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Papama Jose in Environmental Science, and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Jalen Yu in Biotechnology with distinction, and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Vuyolwetu Zumani in Mathematical Statistics with distinction, and the degree of Bachelor of Science with distinction in Mathematical Statistics. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you the candidates whose names appear in the programs for graduation in 2020 and 2021 for the degree of Master of Science. Numpumelelo Catherine Basso in Botany with distinction. Chiritidzo Respina Chamboko in Bioinformatics with distinction. Francis Chandeka in Chemistry with distinction. Tapiwa Crispina Chandeka in Computer Science. Kathleen Margaret Cobbing in Physics with distinction. Washington Dindera in Bioinformatics. Olwetu Dlangamandla in Mathematical Statistics. Benjamin Puleng Kokoldi in Entomology with distinction. Tato Katoshelo Malesa in Human Kinetics and Ergonomics. Natasha Luleka Mandondo in Human Kinetics and Ergonomics. Daniel Nkosanati Mazungula in Ichthyology with distinction. Tendai Muronzi in Bioinformatics with distinction. Tyron Ncube in Computer Science. Urbane Nshokano Ndegano in Chemistry. Apelele Nhlansana in Biochemistry. Wendy Jennifer Parsons in geography. Cindy Rusia one in physics. Zinzi Sanazo Somana in zoology. Kemochetse Tebogo Charlotte Shenking in chemistry. Gertrude Chituke in entomology. Butin Sinetemba Toko in water resource science. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you a candidate whose name appeared in the program for graduation in 2020 and 2021 for the degree of Bachelor of Science. Cheniwane Ezekiel Machengwana. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you the candidates whose names appear in the programs for graduation in 2020 and 2021 for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Pascal Asabahiman Agbedion Atalo in entomology. Tuta absoluta is a devastating pest of tomatoes worldwide. Pascal investigated the biology, the thermal physiology, and the host specificity of a potential biological control agent, a tiny wasp imported from South America. He showed that this wasp has great potential to control tuta and is in the process of being cleared for release in Africa, where it will contribute to the long-term control of this disastrous pest. Congratulations. Frank Chiuazoke Akamanguna in zoology. Several analytical tools were used to study the effects of agriculture on aquatic macroinvertebrates in the Cat River, Eastern Cape. The results revealed the strengths in using a complementary approach to biomonitoring. Stable isotope ratios address questions about the key food resources for macroinvertebrates along the pollution gradients. Taxonomic analyses indicated wide changes in community composition, and trait-based analyses provided insights into the key stressors on animals associated with decreased water quality. Kate Louise Holser Bryan in physics. Kate's subdiscipline is quantum philosophy. Her thesis was concerned with resolving a puzzle that has haunted both physicists and philosophers alike for countless centuries, the problem of time. Where does time come from, and why does time appear differently in different theories? Calling on a toolkit that included critical thinking to differential analysis, Kate established that the real issue is not with the concept of time, but with the problem of time itself, as it is nonsensical as normally posed. Congratulations. Abantika Chakraborty in biochemistry. The cellular stress response is activated by environmental stress and is critical for life. The system is hijacked by cancer cells to support survival and progression in a stressful tumor environment. Using genetic modulation, Abantika demonstrated that the levels, activity, and cellular distribution of the master stress regulator, HSF1, are controlled by the abundance of the protein HOP, and consequently, HOP loss reduces cellular fitness. Her work identifies a new therapeutic target to reverse cell resilience in HSF1-driven cancers. Welcome. Carla Edworthy in ichthyology. There is little information on coastal pH and the threat that ocean acidification has on coastal species in South Africa. Carla, combining a monitoring and an experimental approach to quantify pH variability in Algoa Bay and examine whether a common coastal fish blacktail is able to tolerate pH conditions outside of the prevailing pH range. pH in Algoa Bay was found to be much more variable than the open ocean, and due to the exposure to variable pH conditions, blacktail was able to tolerate very low pH. Lisolomzi Asaf Fikizolo in ichthyology. Illegal fishing is a threat to fisheries and conservation globally. Fisheries governance authorities are responsible for monitoring and controlling fishing activities to deter illegal fishing. Lisolomzi developed a framework for testing a country's monitoring and control system and applied it to South Africa in particular. He found that the system in South Africa to be generally adequate, but with some challenges, including financial resources and engaging with stakeholders. As a result, illegal fishing remains a serious problem in some local fisheries. David Kwapedza in hydrology. Erosion and sediment transport are important but complex components of riverine systems and impact on water resources. David further developed and thoroughly tested an existing model that simulates catchment scale sediment delivery. While there remain a number of modeling uncertainties, mostly associated with the unavailability of data to calibrate the model, the approach offers an effective and applicable tool that can provide information to enhance land and water resource management in catchments of Southern Africa. Nanamkhla Gwedla in environmental science. Greening of towns and cities is an essential strategy to improve livability, sustainability, and also to mitigate climate change. Yet in South Africa, urban greening is overlooked, especially in township and RDP neighborhoods. Working at various spatial scales and using novel participatory learning approaches, including working with women's groups, Nanamkhla investigated the barriers and enablers to urban greening experienced by institutions and urban residents. Her work provides a blueprint for the design of sustainable urban greening initiatives in township and RDP neighborhoods. Gugu Patience Kubeka in chemistry. Gugu's research focused on the optical limiting fluorescence sensor and photodynamic therapy activities of BODIPI dyes and their nanoparticle conjugates. Polymer thin films with embedded dye molecules were prepared with the goal of enhancing aviation safety in the context of the irresponsible use of laser pointers during runway approaches. Gugu also successfully demonstrated that several of the BODIPI dyes could potentially be used as sensors in biomedical applications and for cancer treatment using laser light. Zwido Felengani, Lizejo in water resource science. Dogma amongst wetland scientists suggests that wetlands exist because of interactions between water, soils, and living things. Because most wetland science has been in the northern hemisphere where conditions are moist and cool, wetlands and drylands are poorly understood. Zwido used remote sensing and global and regional datasets to shed light on the importance of geomorphic controls of these systems in southern Africa's drylands. He showed that without considering underlying geomorphic and geological factors, wetlands will continue to be degraded and lost around the world. Chantal Maharaj in biochemistry. Cells convert the sugar glucose into energy for growth and development via a process known as glycolysis. Chantal's doctoral thesis identified a link between the cellular stress and glycolytic enzymes via the protein hop. She demonstrated that cells lacking hop had increased levels of activity of key glycolytic enzymes, which culminated in reduced glucose uptake but increased glucolysis rate. Her work establishes a foundation for targeting of hop as a therapeutic strategy to modulate glycolysis in diseases like cancer and diabetes. Siyabulela Subantu Manona in geography. Premised on the view that post-apartheid policies have deepened poverty and inequality rather than stem the historical tide on these, the study explores the potential role of open government data in repurposing the land administration system in South Africa. This study interrogated the intersection between the state of land governance and administration and South Africa's land data ecosystem. The conclusion is that there is a definite role for open government data in the repurposing of land governance administration, but thus far there are insufficient conditions to achieve this ideal. The study makes a significant contribution to transdisciplinary approaches to land governance and evidence-based policy design processes. Melody Klatini Manyuruke in chemistry. Coumarins and their derivatives are a medicinally important family of compounds containing two fused rings. In this study, a series of more than 80 novel 4-hydroxy-coumarin derivatives were synthesized and investigated as potential HIV enzyme inhibitors. Several of the compounds showed good activity, especially against the HIV-1 integrase enzyme. In addition, some of the compounds exhibited anti-malarial activity, activity against the trypanosoma parasites that cause African sleeping sickness, and activity against some pathogenic mycobacteria which cause tuberculosis. Zolile Maseko in entomology. The biological control of water hyacinths in South Africa is limited by cool winters and eutrophic waters. Zolile conducted a thorough post-release evaluation of one of the biological control agents for this weed and showed that rather than taking a classical biological control approach, the insect should be mass-reared and then released soon after winter in high numbers to get effective control. Mzianda Mbaba in chemistry. Cancer and malaria continue to be the leading causes of death globally. Chemotherapy remains one of the crucial tools in the control and management of these diseases. However, the major obstacle is the rising cases of multi-drug resistance that renders existing clinical drugs ineffective. Mzianda's research focused on a simple scaffold, 1,3-benzooxazine, to design new drug molecules envisaged to overcome the problem of resistance. Majority of the compounds proved potent against these diseases, and the data revealed that the chief compounds possess a dual mode of action for antimalarial activity, including DNA interaction and homozoin inhibition. Kolani Reginald Mklanga in geology. The Northern Cape province of South Africa hosts the world's most important sedimentary rock sequences in the context of the earliest chemical and biological evolution of our oceans and atmosphere. Kolani studied these rocks in unprecedented detail while utilizing state-of-the-art analytical techniques and methodologies. The results of his work have shown crucial new light into the origin of oxygenic photosynthesis and the associated formation of the largest ore resources of iron and manganese on a global scale. Zolani Mkile in microbiology. The Eastern Cape has approximately 750,000 hectares of degraded land, offering poor grazing quality for livestock. Zolani's research investigated the impact of superphosphate fertilization on the grazing value, as well as its impact on arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi. These fungi form a mutually beneficial relationship with plant roots, assisting with acquiring nutrients. Under reduced levels of superphosphate, increased grazing quality of grasses and legumes, and was correlated with the presence of arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, highlighting the crucial role that these fungi play in the soil. Samuel Nkupani Motichwe in entomology. The impacts of invasive aquatic weeds in South Africa are fairly well understood, but how these systems recover after the weed has been removed is not known. Sam quantified biodiversity recovery at 4 field sites after the biological control of water hyacinth and showed that indigenous biodiversity recovered as the weed was controlled. Bennett Ryan in Human Kinetics and Ergonomics. Ben applied human factors and ergonomics complex social technical systems theory to understand the development of grassroots football within resource-scarce contexts. He took an embedded ergonomics approach using cognitive work analysis to understand the constraints and affordances of the performance of local football associations. He found that large mismatches between the South African Football Association and the actual functioning of the football associations significantly hinder the effective management and running of football in South Africa, and was therefore able to define important transformational redesign opportunities. Tadamakezwa Alan Sanyanga in Bioinformatics. Alan's thesis presents a significant contribution to understanding the causes of rare diseases at protein level with specific applications to a group of proteins called carbonic anhydrases. In humans, poor carbonic anhydrase function due to mutations causes protein deficiencies, resulting in osteopetrosis, cerebral calcification, and mental retardation, among others. Alan's work has been internationally recognized and provides a valuable platform for the development of novel therapeutics for rare diseases. Arthur Sarin in chemistry. Chalcones are a class of compounds that are readily synthesized in a laboratory. In his work, Arthur generated an extensive virtual library of these chalcones and explored their therapeutic potential against a range of disease targets. Through careful statistical examination on how small changes in their chemistry affects their activity across a wide range of disease targets, he was able to identify chalcones predicted to be highly active against diseases such as the methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus superbug, and also to explain the source of this activity. Ketubole Cassius Secota in chemistry. According to the World Health Organization, approximately 40 million people are living with HIV globally. The fact remains that there is no cure for HIV. However, the access to effective antiviral drugs has made HIV a manageable health condition. In response to limitations of existing antiretroviral drugs, Ketubole's research focused on using the Baylis-Hillman synthetic strategy in the development of a library of novel quinolones and indolazine 2 carboxyamides as potential anti-HIV agents through the inhibition of the key HIV-1 enzymes. The synthesized compounds revealed encouraging inhibition of HIV-1 integrase without any evidence of human cytotoxicity. Rachel Sibande in computer science. Rachel's research focused on identifying ways that ICTs could be used to overcome barriers to citizen engagement and participation with government. In doing so, she developed Mzinda Wanga, an ICT platform to support citizen engagement with city councils, district councils, water and electricity service providers. She explored various mechanisms such as radio programs, training sessions, mayoral debates and community campaigns, and identified factors that influence citizen engagement and service provider responsiveness, and the action in 3 cities and 8 districts in Malawi. Impo Chisapungu in physics. Space weather is a threat to various systems such as high-frequency and satellite communications and navigation applications. These systems are highly affected by ionospheric variability. Impo used ground-based data from the South African Ionosonde network to develop a regional ionospheric storm time model. Validation of the model was done using global positioning systems and radio occultation data. This work has contributed significantly to space weather prediction models in South Africa and increasing our understanding on how the disturbed ionosphere affects communication systems. Marcel van der Merwe in microbiology. Microorganisms such as yeasts form mutualistic relationships with insects, affecting their behavior and development. These yeast-insect interactions can be manipulated for application in biological control of agricultural pests. Marcel isolated and genetically characterized several novel yeast species associated with the false codling moth, a serious pest of citrus fruit in South Africa. He found that they influence feeding behavior of the moth's larval stages and the oviposition preference at the adult stage. His findings indicate that these yeasts provide a novel option for improved control of the false codling moth if incorporated into existing pest management programs. Kerry Ann van der Walt in ichthyology. Of all the climate change stresses, temperature is considered to have the greatest impact on aquatic species. Kerry Ann investigated the thermal tolerance of a range of fish and invertebrate species from different estuarine and rocky shore habitats. Invertebrates, particularly those from rocky shore habitats, were generally more tolerant of extreme temperatures than fish, with projected climate change unlikely to have a substantial impact on these species. The fish studied were less tolerant of thermal extremes, especially low temperatures associated with upwelling events.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting to you Makhaiko Chitambo, Professor and Head of the Department of Physics and Electronics and recipient of the Vice Chancellor's Distinguished Senior Research Award for 2019. And I'll ask him to come forward. The Department of Physics and Electronics is housed in one of our oldest and more modest-looking buildings. Some amazing things happen there, as you will discover today. Professor Chitambo is a world expert in the kinetics of thermo- and optically stimulated charge transfer processes in condensed matter, with scientific achievements at national and international level. His work is in both experimental and modeling of luminescent properties of wideband dielectrics, as well as with the study of irregularities of radiation-induced processes. His work has been recognized for making a significant contribution to the understanding the role of thermally assisted processes in the formation of luminescent properties of materials used in solid-state dosimetry. After joining Rhodes University in 2002, Professor Chitambo set about establishing a fledgling luminescence group, which had by 2006, just a few years later, attracted equipment, graduated numerous research students, and earned him the Vice-Chancellor's Distinguished Research Award. His laboratory is now a leading luminescence research entity on the continent. Professor Chitambo's peers on the selection committee for this award were particularly persuaded by the impact of his scholarly activities over a sustained period. He regularly takes part in international scientific conferences on luminescence, detectors, and dosimetry, in which he is a frequent invited keynote speaker. He has published in excess of 100 scientific papers, has refereed for the leading journals in the field, and has served on the scientific advisory committees of conferences across the globe. In 2018, Chitambo authored the book, An Introduction to Time-Resolved Optically Stimulated Luminescence, which was commissioned by the United Kingdom's Institute of Physics. He went on to contribute the section on time-resolved luminescence to the landmark multi-authored book entitled Advances in Physics and Applications of Optically and Thermally Stimulated Luminescence, which was published in 2019 by World Scientific. As host and chair of the 15th International Conference on Luminescence and Electron Spin Resonance, which was held in Cape Town in 2017, he is credited with establishing South Africa as a contributor alongside some of the leading countries in this field. He has organized symposia on luminescence in South Africa as well as Switzerland, and he's a member of the Council of the South African Institute of Physics and of the American Physical Society. To bring Professor Chitambo's quite theoretical field into more of a pragmatic space, some of the most interesting forms of solids are crystals, with an orderly lattice work of atoms. Among these are precious stones, in which luminescence techniques can be used to uniquely identify gems through their distinctive structural imperfections. Professor Chitambo has been contacted by a diamond company looking to use his expertise in detecting illegal blood diamonds, a scourge of the trade, as these diamonds get their name from funding wars and conflicts. So, Mr. Chancellor, I present to you Professor Makaka Chitambo, recipient of the 2019 Vice-Chancellor's Distinguished Senior Research Award. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting to you Justin Jonas, professor in the Department of Physics and Electronics, he is the same department, recipient of the Vice-Chancellor's Distinguished Achievement Award for 2019. That man. Former President Mandela once famously noted that things always seem impossible until they are done. The story of Professor Justin Jonas and the Square Kilometre Array, or SKA for short, is a perfect example of this. In the year 2000, South Africa's prowess in the field of radio astronomy was on the verge of flickering out. The country boasted a total of 5 radio astronomers and 1 operational radio telescope, the Hartbeespoort Radio Observatory, that was left behind by NASA's Apollo missions in the 1960s. Fast forward 22 years, and everything has changed. Radio astronomy research is flourishing in South Africa, with more than 100 PhD qualified researchers collaborating across all major universities. Leading scientists from all over the world are conducting research using the data pouring out of 64 dishes of the South African-built Meerkat radio telescope, situated in the Great Karoo. The even bigger Square Kilometre Array, the SKA itself telescope, which will see another 133 dishes spread along curved spiral arms across hundreds of kilometers, is well under construction by an international consortium comprising many countries. The purpose of the SKA and Meerkat is to intercept radio waves from other parts of the universe, sensitive enough to study the birth and death of stars, detect the mysterious powerful force known as dark energy, and go back in time to record how stars and galaxies formed just after the Big Bang, And if you have an imagination and any extraterrestrial intelligence is sending us signals through space, then the SKA is likely to be the first instrument to detect them. This is a project of quite literally astronomical proportions. So South Africa has many people to thank for its enviable position now as a world leader in the field of radio astronomy instrumentation. But at the top of that list is the man standing over there on the stage right now, Justin Jonas. He's often been referred to by the founding project manager of the SKA project, Dr. Bernie Farinoff, as the SKA spiritual guru. And he has played the role of scientist, architect, politician, salesman, entrepreneur to get this concept into reality. The story started in 2001 when the president of the National Research Foundation, Dr. Khotso Mogele, convened a meeting of scientists to brainstorm the country's next big project with the emphasis on indigenous knowledge and geographic advantage. Justin Jonas proposed the SKA project, an idea that had been floating around international radio astronomy circles for a while. His proposal found traction, and so began a stage of Justin's life that would take him all over the world, meeting peers and heroes in the field, the wide recognition of his own PhD work done here at Rhodes University, providing him with ready access to senior researchers, and they in turn to politicians with influence in their respective countries. So to cut a very long story short, the next 20 years saw South Africa winning the bid to host this international project. Many intractable-looking challenges addressed, unthinkably large budgets committed from all over the planet, national radio protection laws passed, and a never-before-built instrument designed and put in place in the Northern Cape. And along with this, the intellectual reputation of Rhodes University and the South African science system soaring. This extraordinary achievement of being a critical part of initiating and constructing one of the biggest scientific instruments ever built prompted this university to institute a new category of Vice Chancellor's Award to recognize a contribution to the enablement of new scholarly knowledge of this magnitude. So, Mr. Chancellor, I present to you Professor Justin Jonas, the inaugural recipient of the Vice Chancellor's Distinguished Achievement Award. Mr. Chancellor, I now have the honor of presenting to you Özlem Tastin Bishop, Professor and Director of the Research Unit in Bioinformatics in the Department of Biochemistry and Microbiology, and recipient of the Vice Chancellor's Distinguished Senior Research Award for 2020. An amazing and inspiring scientist, and who will continue to bring novel concepts to drug discovery projects. This is how a reviewer for this award chose to describe this candidate. Her peers in the selection committee were particularly persuaded by the impact of her scholarly activities, the expansiveness of her collaborations, and the longer-term impacts of her initiative in growing the field of bioinformatics both at Rhodes University and nationally. Professor Tastin Bishop is a multidisciplinary scientist with a background in physics, mathematics, genetics, biochemistry, and structural biology. Her work is aimed at making an impact on drug discovery by developing approaches and tools to circumvent mutation-related effects in the context of drug resistance and drug toxicity and efficacy. She is generally regarded as one of South Africa's leading researchers in the field of molecular design. Although Africa makes up only 17% of the world's population, it carries 25% of the global disease burden, due significantly to existing healthcare provision not coping. Most treatments for human disease originate from other parts of the world, are often too costly in Africa to be useful, and are often designed for disease variants not common in African populations. Underpinning Professor Taston Bishop's research rationale is the need for initiatives that will address capacity and relevance to the medical challenges of this continent. One of Professor Taston Bishop's strengths lies in effective postgraduate mentoring. She has built significant critical mass around her work, has graduated 21 PhD graduates and 36 master's students, and in fact, that after this week, those numbers will be out of date, and currently runs a large group of postgraduates. Over the years, she has received several professional awards, including the South African Society for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology's 2005 prize for the best experimental biology presentation, and the South African Society for Bioinformatics Silver Award for 2022. At our university, she has received the Individual Internationalization Award in 2018, has frequently featured in the top 30 researchers list in our annual research report, and of course, the VC's Distinguished Award that we are celebrating today. She serves on the editorial boards of Frontiers in Molecular Biosciences and Frontiers in Applied Mathematics and Statistics. She's an advisory board member of the F1000 Research Bioinformatics Gateway and was the driving force behind the establishment of the South African Society for Bioinformatics and Computation Biology in 2012, serving as its first president. So, Mr. Chancellor, I present to you Professor Özlem Taston Bishop, recipient of the 2020 Vice Chancellor's Distinguished Senior Research Award.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting to you Dr. Jonathan Davey, Mr. Andrew Todd, and Dr. Bernard Ryan. From the Department of Human Kinetics and Economics in the Faculty of Science, they are the recipients of the Vice Chancellor's Distinguished Award for Community Engagement for 2019. The Vice Chancellor's Distinguished Community Engagement Award is a prestigious, competitive annual award which recognizes meaningful and committed partnerships between the members of the university and community partners in the areas of teaching, learning, and research, where human and material resources of the university have been combined with assets found in local communities to contribute to sustainable human and community development. Rhodes University has become a leading, engaged university with a number of internationally renowned engaged research programs and meaningful community-engaged learning partnerships. Today, it is my honor to introduce to you the winners of the 2019 award, Dr. Jonathan Davey, Mr. Andrew Todd, and Dr. Bernard Ryan from the Department of Human Kinetics and Economics, HKE. Individually and as a team, Jonathan, Andrew, and Bernard have been acknowledged for their collaborative efforts to shift the HKE department towards a more engaged approach to research and teaching as well as learning, and towards evolving a philosophy based on holism and the systems approach, underpinned by clear values and expectations to guide their department's community engagement activities. Consequences of their 8-year evolutionary journey with community engagement have been the integration of theory with practice through service learning and engaged research, thereby moving students physically, psychologically, and intellectually from the confines of a laboratory to the lived reality of communities and their work situations. The development of collaborative partnerships with relevant stakeholders, and a shift from disciplinary specificity to transdisciplinarity. While we highlight the individual contributions of each of the recipients to community engagement, we also acknowledge that the progress made was only possible because of the team effort and the support of other individuals in and outside of the HKE department for looking out through the ivory tower window and making transformative shifts in their thinking and actions. Their focus is not on a single project, but rather their journey from primarily laboratory-based education and research model to an engaged model that has a focus on working with the community to address locally emergent problems. In the context of promoting a lifelong passion for human movement amongst students and community, they have together provided a framework to change the idea of what the classroom is and where learning occurs to promote the philosophy of engaged citizenship. Dr. Davey completed his undergraduate degree at Rhodes University, majoring in human kinetics and economics and organizational psychology at Rhodes University in 2006, which he passed with double distinction. He went on to complete his honors, master's, and doctoral degrees in human kinetics and economics, and has been a lecturer in the department since 2013. His research interests focus predominantly on understanding sleep-wake behavior and the effects of sleep loss on human performance in different settings, such as aviation, and includes research on the sleep-wake behavior of school-going adolescents, students, and more recently, academics. As a lecturer, Dr. Davey has a strong emphasis on community engagement. His focus has been on creating opportunities for students to see the interconnectedness between the different undergraduate courses through the application of systems theory, while offering additional learning opportunities for his students through course-embedded service learning and community engagement activities. Dr. Dave has always been an active participant in the Trading Life for Mandela initiative at Rhodes University, where his team has taught community members boxing, physical education, self-defense, and basic first aid. Nationally, he is the president of the Economic Society of South Africa and the editor of the Society's journal, Economics South Africa. Mr. Andrew Todd also has a long history at Rhodes University, having completed his undergraduate degree here in 1998 and his MSc in 2001. Currently, he is a senior lecturer in the Department of Human Kinetics and Economics. His research focus is community sport and the application of economics to any context that is locally relevant. His main interest lies in the use of disciplinary knowledge to contribute to the reduction of inequality in our city, in our province, as well as in the country. Mr. Todd has served 2 terms as the chair of international development for the International Economics Association, 1 term as the president of the South African Economic Society, as well as the Network of African Economic Societies, and is currently serving as the chair of strategic development and implementation for the International Economics Association. Furthermore, he served on the in the Department of Labor, Employment and Labor Technical Committee to develop economics regulations in South Africa, which were promulgated in 2020. Then, last but not least, before I get there, Mr. Todd incorporates his real-world experiences into his undergraduate teaching and research groups. And over the years, there has been a shift in the focus of his teaching and learning and research work from a laboratory setting to one that acknowledges the context within which we all live. He has adapted this service learning model with Dr. David and also with Dr. Bernard Ryan, hence the trio. Mr. Ryan, or Dr. Ryan, I noticed that we celebrated your doctorate already. Dr. Ryan has been interested in research that engages more holistically with the local Makanda community since embarking on his master's project in 2014. This led to his PhD thesis, focus being on the application of ergonomics complex systems tools to resource scarce sporting organizations. While still a student, Dr. Ryan was a teaching assistant, head of department, assistant and lecturer, and ergonomics consultant. We congratulate Dr. Jonathan Davey, Mr. Andrew Todd, and Dr. Bernard Ryan on being the recipients of the 2019 Vice Chancellor's Distinguished Award for Community Engagement. So, Mr. Chancellor, it is my honor to present you to the winners, or present the winners of the Vice Chancellor's Distinguished Award for Community Engagement for 2019, Dr. Jonathan Davey, Mr. Andrew Todd, and Dr. Bernard Ryan.
We've come to the end of the program for this morning. Will you please rise for the national anthem? By virtue of the authority vested in me, I dissolve this congregation of Rhodes University.